Okay, for our last screencast for the personal project report, we're going to talk about finalizing and submitting your report. So I want to make sure, before you get too far into finalizing your report and submitting it, that you've had 3 meetings with your supervisor. You completely filled out the cover sheet, which looks like this page, again completely filled out, and the academic honesty form, which looks like this. Make sure all the signature areas are signed, and that you ask questions when you need to. You can email me, your supervisor, Ms. Rotan, or you can come see us if you need to. So I want to reiterate from the last screencast about writing your project report. Hopefully you're going to write it and then have time to go back and proofread it. So I want to make sure that you address all 4 criteria in your project report and that they're separated out into the 4 criteria, which is investigating, planning, taking action, and reflecting. But also, each of the criteria have 3 objectives. I want to make sure that you understand that you need to address each part of each objective. For example, I've chosen D2 on the rubric to demonstrate one more time what that means. So students are to present an excellent reflection on how completing the project has extended his or her knowledge and understanding of the topic and global context. If you can do that, then you have a good chance of scoring a 7 or an 8 for criterion D. But how do you go about doing that? Again, this means that students must present an excellent reflection that addresses how the project extended your knowledge of the topic, which includes information and facts about the topic, extended your understanding of the topic, which means you've been able to explain how your research and your involvement in the process has increased your interpretation of the significance of the topic. So you need to make sure that you are able to demonstrate that in your project report. How being involved in the process has extended your knowledge, which is information and facts of the global context, and how the project has extended your understanding or be able to interpret the significance of the global context. You can't just state that, you've got to go a little further beyond that. You can do that in a variety of ways. You can blend some together. You don't have to divide those out necessarily unless you want to within your project report. So for example, you could say in your project report how being involved in the process has extended both your knowledge and understanding of the topic, and then have a little separate area in your project report where you explain how being involved in the process has extended your knowledge and understanding of the global context. Either way you decide to do that, or any way you decide to do that, make sure that you address knowledge and understanding and the topic and the global context. So make sure again that you address all components of each objective. So read those carefully. And if you take a look at the sample, again, which you don't need to use as a template, but just to get some ideas about how you could go about making sure that you address each part of each objective in the IB rubric, the sample provides a demonstration of that. So the student, under reflecting, has evaluated his product against his criteria, then he's got new insights on the topic and new insights on the global context. So he's addressed both knowledge and understanding of the topic and the knowledge and understanding of the global context. And then of course he's got a nice section here on the development, on his development as an IB learner. So once you've written your report and even possibly gotten some feedback from your supervisor, you can ask your supervisor again to proofread. Just be respectful of their time. Give them a little bit of time to proofread. If not all of your project report, then I'd recommend maybe some of your project report, or bring it with you and sit down and talk about some problematic areas that you have with your supervisor. That would give you a good chance of doing the very best you can when you submit it on the 16th. So speaking of submission, let's talk about how you're going to do this. It's not very complicated. You're just going to submit by hard copy and upload to ManageBac. So by hard copy, I'm going to need the following documents in order on Thursday, February the 16th by 2:30. So after school dismisses at the very latest, and of course you can turn it in anytime beforehand in room 326. I'll be there. So the order of submission is this. I'd like to have the cover sheet on top, followed by the academic honesty form. Then the project report. Remember, it's 3,500 words max, and that doesn't include like in-text citations or bibliography. Then you'll need your bibliography and sources, the appendices up to 10 A4 pages, and so typically the recommendation is 5 pictures per page is the maximum. And of course you can have say maybe 2 or 3 or however many you need to, excerpts from like a personal process journal entry, but it's up to you, and those can be annotated. So again, you can write on them to explain how you're using it in your project report. And then any kind of evidence of your product or outcome. So you may not have this necessarily. If you can't bring in your product because it's too big, or maybe it was an outcome, so maybe you did like a charity event, then you'll at least need to make sure that you had pictures there that you can include in your appendices. So again, your evidence of your product or your outcome can be a copy of the product or extracts of the product, or up to 5 still images or 30 seconds of video. It seems to me that the way that I'm interpreting this from the IB is that you can have that separate from your appendices. So so far I think that's what it means. I'll keep double checking. I can't find any exact information, but from the way it looks, from what I've gotten, that the evidence, so for example, if you include pictures, then that's a separate thing from the appendices. And so if you have any questions about that for your project in particular, please send me an email or stop by and see me, and we'll go from there. So once you have these files, and it should be pretty simple to upload them into ManageBack, and I'll need those by Thursday, February the 16th, and that we can do that until 11:59, so you could go home if you needed to and upload these. But there's a bit of a problem. Make sure that you scan in your cover sheet an academic honesty form. So you'll either want to take a picture or scan it in, or if you already have it as a file, you may want to do that. But the problem is you're going to need to maybe create it as a PDF so you could send it to your supervisors in order to sign it. That seems like kind of a mess. So I'd recommend that you fill them out and then you just scan them in or take a picture and upload the pictures as a file. So once you have your cover sheet and your academic honesty form uploaded, then you're also going to upload as a separate file your project report. Then your sources, your bibliography, should be a separate file. And then the appendices need to be a separate file. If you need a separate file for the evidence of product, you could definitely do that. Again, it's not necessary for every single product. You might have something you could bring in. For example, if you built something, you'd be bringing that in. But if you have pictures or video, then you'll need to upload those in a separate file. So the format of the file names are on your screen. If you'll have your last name and then the title of the file. So your last name in the cover sheet, last name in academic honesty form, and so on. And you can upload those right directly into ManageBack, and I'll show you where you can upload those. So I've logged into a student named Priya's personal project page, and so this is just a login page. Thank you, Priya, for letting me use your ManageBack account to demonstrate. So if you'll scroll down to the bottom, or kind of to the bottom, kind of like the middle, and you've got some a section that says Project Documents. So you can upload your project documents. You could click there and you could choose your files. If you will upload them right there on the front worksheet page. So you're on the worksheet tab here, and just choose a file to upload. You can click on that and it will tell you, you know, this is for me for some downloads that I've had. So you click your file and you upload them, and that's pretty much it. And again, I want to reiterate, you need to be sure that you look at those green buttons. So you need to be sure that you click upload the document, because some students said, you know, they chose a file but maybe they didn't upload the document. So be very aware of that, okay? If you have any questions, you're welcome to send me an email or come by and ask. So once you've submitted your project report, both by hard copy and uploaded into ManageBack, then the assessment process begins. And I want to remind you guys that all we are scoring is the personal project report. We're not scoring your product. We're looking at your report because that's going to demonstrate those skills that we need to see. And that's the whole reason we have this whole process, is to really see how well you've developed those 10 ATL skills. So keep that in mind as you're writing your report. That's the only thing we're going to score. And also don't forget the appendices are not scored separately. They're there as supplementary evidence for your project report. So the supervisors are going to get together and your supervisor will score your report on Friday, February 17th, using all the things that you've had, the IB rubric, and also some of the further guidance for the personal project from that packet, and that's what we're going to use in order to score your project report. Then you'll receive your scores the following week. So there's no need to email your personal project supervisor and beg them to tell you what your score is, because what we're going to do is we're going to meet with students and we're going to talk about that and give you some feedback that hopefully will be helpful. And don't forget about exhibition night. It's going to be Tuesday, April 11th from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Concord High School Media Center. Bring your family, your friends, and anyone that helped you in your project. And dress professionally because there's going to be people from the community there that are always invited, and hopefully some people from the media to cover what awesome things we do here at Concord High School. And yes, you must be there. Why wouldn't you be? I mean, you've done all this work. IB's a lot of hard work, and now it's time for you to get to do what you might be doing best, which is showing off. Show off all of the good stuff that we do here at Concord High School. We want the community to know what kinds of things you guys are doing that are awesome, and that all of this work that you're putting in, and so it is meaningful. So please make plans to attend and bring some people with you so you can show off. And that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions or concerns, please see Ms. Drake. You can send me an email, Ms. Rotan, or your supervisor. And I'm proud of you for getting this far. Almost done. I'll see you guys soon and come and hopefully be able to come and talk to you in the coming weeks. And also pay attention for any workshops that we're going to post. Thank you.